Well, as I say, there's a whole new world out there, and it's not even just a new world order. Let's back up. How about the state of Florida?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you seen the gingerbread person?
Yes.
It's gender neutral, so you can be anything you want to be, and this is what
Anything I can be, you can be.
Yeah, you can. You want to be a pony tomorrow?
Yes.
You've been searching for me. Seek and follow me. Do you know who I am?
I am Jay,
And I'm Ray.
and welcome to
PBNJ,
Comfort Food for the Soul. And today, we're going to talk about deceitfulness, how we trust that the people that are doing things to us or doing for us are, when we say we put them into power and they're doing, or we ask them to do the things that we ask them to do, and come to find out they twist things and turn and then you get all confused, and then we end up finding ourselves in a situation where we are right now, as not only as a country, but as citizens and as people who are in the situation where we are right now. I'm bringing up Isaiah 32. Is the vile person will speak violently, villainy, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, to utter error against the Lord, to make empty of the soul of the hungry, and his cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. The instruments are also cruel or evil. He devised wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even with the needy speaketh right. So, what we're experiencing right now in our political situation is people who are giving us information and misleading us as a country. And in reality, regardless of what's happening overseas, because they say whatever happens overseas happens over here.
Yeah, usually, and I was to say, even fashion follows that route.
Yeah.
If it's whatever happens in England will eventually come over here, kind of deal. So whatever does happen overseas will happen here as well.
And the reason why I bring this up, years back, you may remember this, but in South America, one of the richest cities became poor, right? And then they was talking about, well, because we don't have enough food, everybody was starving, and ended up going to different borders like Chile and all that stuff for the lack of food. To the results, to what you see right now, to all these people that was heading this way or headed this way or did cross our borders for the lack of food, right? Then, currently, somebody in our hierarchy says, this year we're going to have a lack of food.
Yeah, our president said that, yeah.
Right. and so
It's going to be a great loss. We're going to be relying on the government at some point to feed our families.
To feed our families. And now we go, okay, well, if this happened in Isaiah, and then what happened? It happened all the way to what did it say? Nothing new under the sun, right? We're doing a repeat. And they were talking about, this is the great, this, that, and whatever. So these instruments that we use to communicate, right? The instruments that we use to show visually, the instruments that we use to listen, right? And we're trying to get information, because even you get your local newspaper anymore, you can't even read that, because the information that you get from that is really pretty much nothing. Today,
you're talking about our news sources and how they gloss over things, and how you've still got cities in China that are completely shut down because of COVID-19, but we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about the daylight savings bill that got passed, talking about we're no longer going to enforce that. We're just going to keep one time. However, we're supposed to, the whole Democratic Party was supposed to be, we are energy saving green people, but the whole point of that daylight savings was to keep energy efficient too, because if you roll that clock forward, your lights come on later at night because you have more sunlight during the day. So it doesn't make any sense that way, except to say people are tired of springing forward and falling back.
I just think it comes back to, I don't want to call it laziness, but this is the situation that we're in right now. As Christians, as Christian followers, Christ followers, right? We are supposed to come together and be able to have this fellowship and talk about this thing that's going on right now. The confusion that we're having and experiencing right now. What it says, but the liberal devised liberal things, and by liberal things shall be stand. So they're devising all this stuff that we are experiencing, and talking about, well, we're gonna promote this new world order, right?
Oh, well, I was gonna say there's a whole new world out there, and it's not even just a new world order. Let's back up. How about the state of Florida?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you seen the gingerbread person?
Yes.
It's gender neutral, so you can be anything you want to be, and this is what
Anything I can be, you can be.
Yeah, you can. If you want to be a pony tomorrow.
Yes.
But the point is that that's what I'm saying. When you're talking about liberal ideas, is that you must comply to this, because if you don't, then you are in this bad group of people, which that's not such the case.
Right. And this is where they talking about, well, the right to be able to speak what you need to speak, the freedom
Absolutely.
of choice.
You can say whatever you want to say. Go ahead.
But when your freedom of choice or freedom of speech gets muted, right? So is it actually?
You can say what you want to say as long as I agree with it. Right. There you go.
Or the direction I want you to go. So let's say, and this happens. This has been happening over. I'm gonna employ a group of people, and I'm gonna give you the tools to be able to take out this group of people, right? But if you decide to go against this, that gave you these instruments to go against this group of people, now I'm going to deem you this because you went against me. So as we stand up and we say, well, what's wokeness? Well, there's woke.
Oh, sure, but I go back to sleep on that one.
There's woke, and then there's like that's not woke anymore. Now it's just more like
no.
It's taken our whole, okay. They say taking a good thing that was once good and then making it into a bad thing. Like,
but you're a bad person for saying that.
You're a bad person, and as you watch all this stuff development, and Christ says it, he's like, where these things are to come, right? But as Christians, we must get ready to endure. So as we were getting ready to endure this thing that's coming down, right? Especially, we're talking about, he says, food shortage, right? All right. Then he talked about now the food is contaminated, right? So now you can't eat the food that you're purchasing from the place that you say that is supposed to be a safe place to be able to purchase and eat, right? Mm-hmm. Then when it comes down to programming, right? I'm going to tell the vision, right? So they're going to tell their vision on how I'm going to direct you, the people, how we're going to go into this pathway, because I'm going to lead you. I'm going to lead you astray, right? I'm going to lead you in this direction. So not only I'm going to do this, I'm going to start at the bare minimum, 2-3 years old, and I'm going to give you a program that you look at it and go, that sounds like this gender, but in reality, it looks like this gender. So
what they're trying to guise it as is that, I just want everybody to have freedom of choice. Well, everybody's had freedom of choice. When you think about it, I know in kindergarten, for me, for you, for the older kids, nobody was trying to talk to them about sexuality at all. Mm-hmm. That wasn't a thing. I've known many kids that went to school and thought that they were a zebra for the day, or a horse, or a cat, or whatever. They have no concept of that yet. And nobody prior to this had been forcing that on them, but now they are. You have other countries, Canada being one of them, I think, where you can't even tell your kid what gender they are. They're supposed to pick that in preschool. We have a 4-year-old. No, We tell her she's a girl,
Right.
therefore she is a girl.
Right.
But does she know what a girl is? No.
No.
She doesn't have a clue. The other thing is they're like, well, what about parents that are same-sex parents? What happens to their child at school? Well, I'm hoping, just like we talk and role model to our children, that those parents are also doing the same thing. So it's, again, not something that needs to be taught in school, but this is something that we're going to have to go through. And this is part of that liberal mindset of, let's all be encompassing and all fair and this, that, and the other. And it isn't all fair. My self should not have to be sacrificed for you to have yours. It shouldn't go either way.
And that's why, when they say back on 32 is vile person shall be no more called liberal, nor the churl shall be called bountiful. So if this person we are standing up to say, well, this is my representative of whatever from county up, and by the time they get to whatever level, and they start looking like Pat. But anyway, then you try and put trust in that person, but then come around, they turn that trust and then flip it to a whole nother agenda. So how do you stand up to it? Well, God, he was telling you, he says, when shall the hail come down from the forest and the city shall be low in the low place. Blessed are ye that sow beside all waters, that send forth 30 the feet of oxen and ass. So what he's saying is, even though this stuff is coming, get into a place where you can still flourish, right? So with that said, well, I'm going to do a garden. Okay, all right. You could do the garden, but you got to can the stuff that you picked.
Can't just let it sit out there and rot.
Can't let it sit out there and rot, right? And if you're gonna can it, then you also got to preserve it. Now, these things are coming. So if the food shortage is to say, well, here comes the food shortage, right?
You got all summer to prepare, little ant.
And you got all summer. Now, don't be like the grasshopper and play your little thing and be like, and then winter comes and then be like, hey, yo, Auntie Annie, hey, what's up, my baby? Yeah, can I get some of that pepperoni? You get no pepperoni, right? You gotta prepare, not prepping, because there's difference, right?
Are they the same?
No.
Why? What's wrong? Okay, time out. What's wrong with that? What's wrong if I wanted to prep?
Because
prep would just be to prepare, just be a shortening version of prepare. So I'm prepping for this. So maybe I gotta look.
Because then you're prepping.
Maybe, and
Or the bug out
I care not what you have to say about me. I care about what's feeding for me and my family. So say you don't have any ground. Say you live in an apartment. You can't grow mass amounts of things and do this. What you can do
let's
is
get you one of those. Go ahead.
Yeah, stop. No, because not everybody can do this. Not everybody has the resources for it. But what you can do, what I was going to say, is pick up 3 or 4 extra cans of green beans at a time.
Right.
Say you normally buy 2 cans of green beans for the week, buy 4 every week. And then you have your own little stockpile of at least vegetables. You can buy canned fruits, you can buy dry goods and things of that nature. But if you're blessed enough to have a little bit of dirt that is yours, or however you want to say it, that you can grow something on, then that's even better, which you should be doing anyway, but we're not going to go there. But yeah, as I say, if you have those resources, yes. And there's nothing wrong with being a prepper. There's nothing wrong with being prepared. Are you not being a prepper by reading your Bible on a daily?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you're prepping. What are you prepping for? Oh, you're prepping your soul for the hereafter, the end game goal.
Yes, sir.
I'm prepping my kitchen cabinets for the October time frame when apparently this is all supposed to, end kind of a deal. You can even freeze butter too, by the way.
Yes. You can freeze butter. You can.
Well, I was gonna say you can melt it down. You freeze it in little jars and stuff like that, and then, or not freeze it, but make it shelf stable. So you can butter, so it'll be shelf stable, so you can have butter later too. We're not doing that.
But
That's a prepper thing.
But it's prepping, and we're prepping our soul.
Yep.
To be able to be ready to go to the next level of what Christ calls us to do, right? Bringing peace unto us as a family. because once you have the I call it the necessary needs to continue to the next, because we are telling you, well, not we, but they are telling you that these things are coming. If it happens in South America, if it happens in Mexico, if it's happening here, and we are supposedly the, I don't want to say number one food grower in the world.
Oh, not by a long shot, but we'd like to think we are, I think.
But as far as grains, wheat, corn, those things that do get shipped overseas, that goes right down the Mississippi, down to the Gulf, right? And gets put in someone else's grain bin. If we're not like Joshua, but like Joseph, and we're not putting our grain in our grain bin and not setting up so we can make wheat or make flour or make bread or to be able to do those things, then when the time comes, as the prices start to climb, eventually that the currency that you have in your pocket, no matter who it is, some people that are here may not be able to get here to even to then you start to, what you call it, not sacrifice, but not rob people for Paul, but you literally will rob to feed your family. You will literally go into survivor mode, and you will pick up things off the side of the road, which there's people I know have done it, and literally to maintain just to eat. When you get to that point when you can't even feed your family, you're going to do everything in your house to protect. Like we were talking about earlier in First Peter, First Peter. I don't know why I said First Peter, right? As
y'all are friends.
Yeah, I know, First Peter, right? So I go to First Peter. As me as a husband, I'm to honor my wife, right? My wife, she's to honor me, and we're both are in the one mindset. Our goal is get into the one mindset of the direction that we're trying to go as a family, right?
And how we can best prepare each other as a family for that. So when you have that good foundation in God, that good backup between each partner, then the adversities that are coming at us that seem like they just should be imminent, you can better handle.
Yes. And if we go, and finally, he says in Peter, finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one another, love as brethren, be pitiful, be courteous. So, as we, wife and husband, are going into this one mindset, and because of everything that we're seeing, right, all these things that are happening, right, the literally breakdown of families, right, the breakdown of families, TV shows, the music industry, it's just
disrespectful to each other. It's not what family units or whatever is on there. It's whatever your unit's supposed to be. They're showing disrespect from the wife to the husband to the wife.
Yes.
The same thing with the music is disrespectful to both sexes. There is no camaraderie. There is no unity. There is no togetherness. It's every man for himself, and I'm better than you mentality.
And that brings us to Peter, 1 Peter 5, when it's talking about the elders. When have you ever seen a time like we're in right now where the disrespect for elders, where it says, the elders which are among you I exhort, who am as an elder and a witness of the suffering of Christ, and also the partaker of the glory that shall be reviled. Feed the flock of God which is among you. So, feed the flock. So that doesn't necessarily take out of a pocket and give you $20 and so you can get a burger down the street. No, when it says feed, meaning feeding the word of God to the public, meaning if you are hungry and you are thirsty, we said a few videos, you got to be thirsty for the word of God. If the meat is within the word, right, and the water of life is right here in the word, then you should be able to find, just like it says, the elders. When the elders are the ones, because I'm going to create this thing that I'm going to cause you fear that as you get to a certain age, I'm going to inject it in you, right? And then don't know what it is. And then they tell you you need to take it because it's going to kill grandma and grandpa, right? Now,
Fear is a very powerful motivator.
now they are out of the picture. Not saying all of them. Just say if it went that way. They're out of the picture. Their knowledge that they got from their parents, they're able to can, to be able to cure meat, to be able to
Home remedy
medications, to be able to take and boil certain types of wood bark, certain things. Like my grandfather taught me, take 3 tender weeds when you get stung by a bee, and make it like into a
to get it juicy.
Till you get it juicy, and rub it on the bee sting gone. That swelling's gone. But when you don't have that knowledge anymore, and that knowledge dies with the elderly, which
A lot of it has already.
a lot of it has already. Now who's left? Well, I have nothing against our generation, but as you can see, the generation that's coming after ours is the one that's is taking the reign, and a lot of this confusion that's going on, that the lack of God, the lack of church, the lack of
Self-respect.
the confusion, between talking about unicorns and I'm going to be a dog and a cat one day to.
Oh, you're talking about teenagers now. I was just talking about the babies when they have a vivid imagination. Their favorite character is a unicorn.
And you got all this stuff here that's going on. And when the Bible says, humble yourself therefore under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your cares upon him, for he cares for you. So if he cares for you, if he gives us the word that says, look here, John, I think you need to, you're going to have to change your job. Well, why? I'm happy where I am. Well, if I was to tell you in a couple of months that the job you have right now won't be able to supply or help your family, your daily living, because let's say your living's here, right? And then the living changes, right? Well, 2 jobs may not even get you back to that living here. Sometimes you're going to have to walk away from something that you were so comfortable in, right? So comfortable. You got to get out of your comfort, and you got to say, he says, humble yourselves therefore under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt due time. So if you humble yourself and you put God first, we are one mind. All right, we're making a decision. This is a decision. We're going to go this way, right? We were, not too long ago, making a decision where we're going to go and change direction of where we're going to go and our path, right? We were in that. Okay?
And we'll be in it again.
We'll be in it again,
That's the fun part of life. It's never just going to be smooth.
It will always change.
Yes.
And we got Cyrus coming here in October. We're in our 40s. Well, Cyrus
Barely. Barely.
Barely. Okay. Well,
Some of us might be a little further there than others, but
we got a new one coming into our lives. So
Yes.
that's another change, right? Another change. So as we change, as the environment change, and then when we're talking about all this stuff, all this lying going on, all this deceitfulness, the things that are going on, bless you.
Sorry.
With the environment, the economy, the everything, and then
you have to focus back to there is one thing that is absolutely unchanging, and that is the Word of God, to which we can stand on, our family can stand on, our marriage can stand on, our household can stand on.
And that's why it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, is roaring like a lion, and he is walking for and seeking for availability, right? If he sees there's a crack right here, right, and he can wedge himself in there, and he pushes away from each other, right? And we're supposed to be able to love one another as husband and wife, to be able to love our family, to let God lead us in the direction we go.
And with that love comes the recognition of you need help with something.
Yes.
Like, I can see that you have a stress on you. I need to try and step in and help with that. I don't have to fix you because you fix you, I fix me, but I should be there in support of what can I do to help you with this? And the same comes to me. And that's what keeps that together and doesn't allow that wedge to come in there as hard.
Right.
And it's the same for your children. When you see your kids struggling and crying, you don't just leave them struggling and crying. You're supposed to go and try and help that. You would pick up a crying baby, right? Mm-hmm. You should pick up a sad spouse or a troubled spouse in the same manner that you would comfort that small child. And
that's why what Rachel was saying is, and then we're talking about Peter 5:10, but God of all grace, who have called us unto his eternal glory by Jesus Christ, after that ye have suffered a while. So you gotta go through sometimes even your marriage.
It's going to. It doesn't. You have to.
Yeah,
it's going to.
It's going to.
Nobody has rainbows and sunshine their entire life. I don't care what celebrity you're looking at. They're like, oh, they were born into money. They had nothing but money. You don't know what personal things that they're fighting in their head. This is why you get people that are anorexic, bulimic, trying to commit suicide, that seem like they have everything. Robin Williams, who seemed like he had everything, great, funny guy, ended up committing suicide. There's reasons for that. Because nobody out there has a perfect life. Nobody has a life that's not without adversity.
To the point where I got to get up and slap somebody. I just saying you could be going through so much. You could be going.
I was like, what?
You've been going through so much, and you don't know what's going on in a household. You don't know
what happened 30 minutes before we got here.
That trigger point. Right, mm-hmm. that trigger word that guy he's been taking it in, and has nowhere to release it, and then just that one trigger word,
couldn't take
anymore, and then you're the talk of the town because you did something, but it doesn't give you the right. But at the same time, okay, let's look at what brought us to that level. Was it because
your lack of self-control is what I was going to go with?
Oh, and you can't humble yourself,
Yes, because whatever you say, if you call me a dog, like Enlo would say, if you call me a dog, our pastor had that when he did that sermon a long, long time ago. Mm-hmm. If you call me a dog, am I going to get on the floor and bark? No. So what you say about me or to me does not define me. I define me.
Right.
And my actions, my reactions to your words and to your actions define me, not you. You can say whatever you want. It's how I react to that define me as a person, not what you said.
And that's why when it says cast all your care, cast it unto him, for he cares for you. Because if you want a blessing to come in your life, you're gonna have to let go. You don't have to let go. You're gonna have to let go. Because when God says, God of all grace have called upon us his eternal glory by Christ, after that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect, stabilize, strengthen, and settle you. So you're going to settle, meaning sometimes you just got to go, ooh, sigh. You just got
to say nothing, just sit there and breathe.
Just breathe. And then just remember the words that you say in your mouth. Once they go, they're gone. And so as husband and wife, as I'm her counselor and she's my counselor, my mentor, she's my mentor, and as I am the head and she submits to me and I submit to her and I'm giving honor to her, and as I'm kidding and putting communicating, and because when there's no communication, there's a lack of communication, and there's a breakdown, then all these entities that are out there, the TikToks and the Instagrammers and the Twitters, the Facebooks, bookers, and all this other stuff that when he says the devil, right? The devil's looking for a way to get in. Your girlfriend's
any avenue. Yes, your girlfriends.
Your girlfriends.
And they don't mean to be it.
Oh.
They don't mean to. They mean well.
Oh, girl. You know he up to no good.
Right, because something like that's happened in their past, and that's totally legitimate for them to say whatever it is that's on their brain.
He ain't good for you. You better get him out of your life.
Guys do it too.
Well, hey, that girl's straight up been around town a couple
times.
Or
she's crazy, all the crazy people act.
But then what if it's jealousy? Then what Didn't he feel
Well,
out?
that's what I'm saying. I don't even think that they know that they're being that way. That's just the way that they are because they've been infiltrated at some point and it's
been tainted.
Yeah.
Yes.
A little bit jaded.
Now we ain't talking about. Anyway, we just gotta focus because greet ye one another, right? When I greet ye one another with a charity, with a kiss of charity, meaning when I greet you, I'm happy, right? Humbleness. Because when I come to the door, right, you should know by my walks that Christ is with me,
Yes.
right? Just like Rachel's cold and I'm wearing a sweatshirt, I should take off my sweatshirt and give it to my wife. But since we're doing PB&J, I'm gonna keep it on right now. But anyway.
Should have put on a hoodie today. Yes.
Put on a hoodie. And look, I got the wrong shirt on. Anyway, but God is like that. He is like, look, let me leave everything right here at the footstep of my feet, right? If you want me to be in your life, you're gonna have to pray as a family. You're gonna have to change your ways as a family. When we talk about the church, if you haven't been in church, try to find a church. And if you found the church, pray about the church that you went to the church so you can make sure that the church doesn't mislead you anyway.
So that they stay whole and healthy too.
Yes. And sometimes if you're not looking for the church, just start praying and talk to God and start saying, God, help.
Talk to your friends about it.
Yes. But even though friends could be not so good either.
Okay, so say you do have a negative, non-believing friend. I'm not saying that that's where you should spend all your time, but sometime there with them is good because they will pose some questions that will make you go, and that will make you go there in turn, look up some information. So it's not a bad thing. It will kind of renew your faith as long as you don't get wrapped up into what they're saying.
Don't get drawn in so
into
hard.
that. Like I said, you go and you find the answers in the Bible, and then that helps you renew your own faith. You're like, see, I knew that was
Be like the fly that's flying by the spider web. Don't go to it because it will get you.
You can hang out and have a conversation.
But you can be like Link Sway and go like, hey, bro, But what God is doing is to us in this time frame. I will tell you, if you're a Christ follower, this is a perfect time. If you're talking about the harvest and the harvest is plentiful, it's right to be harvest. Well, you got to get out there, and you're going to have to at your capability. And the Bible talks about that in Peter, at your capability. It's not telling you have to have
Everybody has to be Joel Osteen.
The Joel Osteen, the Jakes, or the Dollars, or the Swaggets, or Albrights, or whoever. You don't have to have all that doctrine, that PhD, the education to go out and says, when the last time you said thank you for being here? When the last time have you said thank you for being my wife? When's the last time when you said, Lord, I've been through a lot lately, but I know you're teaching me something, so what am I supposed to learn from this turmoil or this blessing? Because sometimes God will give you some cheddar, but at the same time, God will take that cheddar away. Why? Because if you don't learn from what you've been given, how is it that God is going to bless you with more? So if you don't go out there and plant that garden that they're telling you that
needs to be planted,
even though they didn't tell you that it needs to go get planted, that's shame on you. Yeah. Because you are not hearing the warnings they're telling you. They're telling you. You just ain't listening. They're telling you that we're going to focus on a whole nother subject. And we have no business. And we're not even in the country. And we're going to shift it because we are distracting you on what else is coming. And it just told you what's coming.
Right.
You're talking about, well, my gas price is like $5, $6, right? Mm-hmm. Now, there ain't nothing out there that says you can't go buy your gas tank and put it in your yard for emergencies. Your emergencies. There's nothing that says you can't get canned goods and start stocking up your own canned goods.
Except if I don't have the space for it.
Then you gotta get yourself a tote. And if you have to, there are cold storage units. You gotta have
You want
lots.
to store gas in a storage unit?
No, I'm talking about food.
I'm just trying to be.
But
Oh, you gonna have a storage locker full of food? Roll that one up when there ain't none to be had. Okay, you'd be like that guy. Oh, do you remember that back in? He was like in Tennessee. He had like hoarded thousands of bottles of hand sanitizer. Pandemic. Yeah, you gonna be that person with canned corn? Go ahead.
yeah,
No,
unless I'm short on toilet paper. But I'm still saying that God is telling you something. If anything, God is telling you to get back in the Word.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, God is saying become thirsty, become hungry, become humble, become settled.
Sometimes the way that you go through a tragedy is not so much for you to understand what the tragedy was about, was for somebody else that's watching you
Right.
in that difficult
And see
situation.
how you handle it.
And
Yep,
see the
and
grace
how
that you
handle it.
have
Yes.
will shine onto them, even
Yes.
though you will never make sense of like the loss of a child.
Yes.
Like cannot
No.
make sense of that at all.
No. And it's very hard.
It is.
Yes.
But the way you pull through that might be the example that somebody else needs to see.
Right.
So.
And that's
So you may not understand everything. You may
No.
not get the lesson out of every
No.
great tragedy that happened in your life, or you might get it 20 years later and be like,
oh
that's
man,
why.
I went through that. Yeah. Now I understand. And it sometimes doesn't happen right away.
Yeah.
But in overall, stay faithful and put God first. Put Christ first in everything. Put Yahshua HaMashiach in your life, or Jehovah, whatever one you want to call. Yahweh. You put them in your life. Ask for the Holy Spirit. Ask for the remnant to teach you. To say, Lord, whatever remnant of you and me that I'm supposed to learn, help me understand. Mm-hmm. Bring peace. If there's destruction in your life, take that destruction away. Patience. Don't pray for patience, because God will give you patience.
God will give you plenty of opportunity.
Yeah. But blessings and everything else, abundance, health. Just pray for safety. Ask God. Talk to Him. Don't call on Him when your car is on a flat tire or whatnot, because God is not all about just problem solving.
Right.
God is all about getting you to get in the direction before you have to solve those problems. You don't have to count on God when things are looking like storm and hell. You gotta also pray for God when things are calm and well. Hey, I made a poem. Hey. Anyway, so on that note,
Oh God.
thank you for tuning in to Jay
And Ray,
PBNJ.
comfort food for the soul.
Pray, believe in Jesus. Thank you for tuning in, and tune in to us next time.
I've been here the whole time. Just open your eyes. I have been where you've been. I've done what you've done. I am creator of time. I'm joy and never your pain. Do you know who I am? You've been searching for me. Do you know who I am? I am the great I am. You've been searching for me. Seek and follow me. Do you know who I am? See what you've done with the laboring hands. Beauty of time, from beginning to end. Know the heart, the spirit within. I am the great I song for you, the great I am.